If you're considering moving to Draper, today's video is for you. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Draper in 2025 from a longtime Draper resident of over 20 years. So let's jump into it. I think one of the biggest pros of living in Draper is its location. It is centrally located between Salt Lake County, or Salt Lake City really, and Provo. So if you are commuting for work, it's a great location. Depending on which area in Draper you live, if you live further west in Draper, it's very easy to get on the freeway and have quick access to I-15, Bangerter, all of that. So that is one of the things I do love. And with the Point coming in, or downtown Draper, as I always like to say it, that's going to add to the appeal of what amenities and things you can do at downtown Draper, and you're going to be right here for it. Draper also has some of the top rated schools in the entire state, not just for academic reasons, but sports and other extracurricular activities. Another pro to living in Draper is outdoors things to do and more outdoors things to do. I'm here on the Porter Rockwell Trail. You can see it behind me, and I've done lots of videos on the different outdoor activities there is to do. So I'm not going to go into great detail, but there is so much outdoor things. You have Corner Canyon with lots of mountain biking trails, dirt running trails, hiking, paved trails like this, just lots and lots of outdoor things to do in Draper. Draper is really family friendly. You have lots of parks. You have, I'm here where the skate park is. You can see a small park here, tennis courts. There's just parks and things for families to do all through Draper. So one of the cons of living in Draper, you can see South Mountain there behind me. And as you get further south in Draper and onto South Mountain, specifically Suncrest, your cell phone service is spotty at best. I know quite a few people that live on South Mountain and in Suncrest, and they cannot carry on a phone conversation on their cell phone while they're driving. And so if you work primarily from your phone, just plan on the call dropping as you go up South Mountain. I do know people that I just spoke to recently that still have a landline on South Mountain in that area, and people that even at home on their Wi-Fi, they still don't get alerts of calls coming in on their cell phone. So believe it or not, that is still a problem in 2025 in some parts of Draper. So since we're talking about South Mountain, you can see in Draper all behind me, we are just surrounded by tons of mountains. So wildfire risk is real. And I don't know if you can hear the sirens going off right now. It's not for a wildfire, but I'll share this video with you. We actually had a fire start up on South Mountain this summer. So, the wildfire risk is real in Draper depending on where you live, because the whole bench and outer skirts of Draper is actually mountains. I had some friends that lived over on the east bench, and that was something they worried about every single year. When I lived on South Mountain, it was something I worried about every single year, people starting fires. And it actually happened on South Mountain when I lived up there, where somebody started a fire. So with all the talk of insurances and wildfire risks and things like that, that is something that you should really consider depending on what area of Draper you're looking at. Now, one of the things that drives me absolutely crazy about living in Draper and is a huge con is the traffic. And the city is continuing to build things, so it's just going to get worse. But if you drive down 123rd at lunchtime on a weekday or on a Saturday, rush hour traffic in the evening, the traffic is just terrible. It's a headache to deal with. And honestly, living in Draper for as long as I have, I can't tell you how many times I take back roads and things like that and not the main thoroughfares, if you will, because I know that they're going to be congested. And like I said, with Draper continuing to build apartment buildings, downtown Draper coming in, all of that, it's just going to continue to get worse. Another con with Draper, and I've talked about this years ago, is the enforcement here is just terrible. Not just code enforcement, police enforcing things. It's mind-boggling that the city, as large as it is, does not have the resources, and you can go to other cities and things are enforced way better. I know people who have had nothing but problems with parking, like unsafe conditions where people are jamming up circles, parking into the circle. And, like if there was an emergency, a fire truck or an ambulance cannot get through. They've reported it, nothing happens, and it just continues. And so if you are somebody who cares about the way your neighborhood looks, because there's no control over who moves into your neighborhood and honestly just trashes it up, leaves trailers on the streets even though they're not supposed to, things like that. So if you're somebody who really cares about that, that's something to consider. Now, it's not always the case. Like there are some really nicely kept neighborhoods that's not a problem. However, like I said, you can't control who moves into the neighborhood and what can change. And another con to living in Draper is its affordability and home prices. So in June of 2025, the average sales price in Draper was $917,000. And just to give you an idea of home price ranges, you can find condos in Draper starting in the 350 range, and currently active single family homes are going up to $6.5 million. So what I did was I pulled the numbers to see of the active listings right now, what are their price ranges? And there are currently 158 active properties for sale in Draper, and only 77 of those are below $1 million. So not even half of the listings currently active in Draper are under $1 million. I hope you found the video useful. If you're considering making a move to Draper or any of the surrounding areas, reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you. Giving me a call or shooting me a text is the best way to reach me, but as always, make it a great day.